Hi guys, welcome to Localama Starter Kit Tutorials, and today's tutorial number 1. If you purchased one of those kits, or maybe you have just needles and a yarn, so you are ready to begin. If you purchased one of my kits, then you will see that here we have 3 types of yarn. So you find the yarn which will be just 1 ply yarn. Here you have 2 ply yarns, here yarns that is changing its structure, and here you have yarns that has just 1 ply. So you will start with this one. If you have kit that looks like this, you will have also yarn where you will have 2 strands of yarn or with interesting texture yarn, and here you will find the yarn that has just simplest structure and the simplest to start with. So you will take your needles and you will take your yarn. Also on the back you will find paper that has picture instructions for your kit, and it would look like this. And that's what we will do with you today. So for today's tutorial you'll just need a yarn, and in the first part we will just use 1 needle. I chose a bigger needle just that you could see better and stitches would be bigger. Today I would like to teach you how to cast on. So that's the beginning of a knitting, casting on. And there are so many different ways how to do it, but the most popular one is a long tail cast on, and sometimes it calls 2-tail cast-ons. So for that you need to take 1 needle and piece of yarn, and let's leave about 50 centimeters of yarn, and here we have middle. So we have strands that goes to the ball, and we have the end. Now we need to make kind of a V shape with our fingers like that, and we will take part tail that goes to the ball, and we will put it here, our fingers like this, and we will wrap pointing finger and a thumb with yarn, and here where you have your tail, they'll come together like this, like triangle. Okay, and then you'll just grab with your other fingers this yarn. Usually often people start with a slip knot, but it's not necessary. We can just start casting on without slip knot. Then without slip knot, I think it looks much better in a knitting. So, and now you have your needle, and you hold it in your hand, your right hand, and yarn you're holding in your left hand. And now we start. If you put your needle in here and pull it like this, and then you hold it with your finger, then you go down inside this loop, and you move your needle and you grab this yarn over here and you bring it back through this loop, and then you let go with your thumb. Then you take this strand again with your yarn. So now you have triangle again. And let's do it again. You take this bottom yarn, you stick your needle into this loop, and you go ahead and grab top yarn, and you bring it through the loop. You let go of yarn that around your thumb, put your thumb here and make it tight. See, here it's tight. Here we have stitches. Okay, let's do it again. And again. From this side, maybe I'll show you. And then you tighten it up in the bottom. And you work your way until your tail is, don't have tail anymore basically. Here you have beautiful braid in the end, and that's called long tail cast on. So you have to practice it many times. After you did it once, then you do it again. Put your yarn, triangle, stick your needle here, it's your first loop, and keep going. Keep going. Okay, that's your first step. But what I usually do in my knitting, I never cast on one needle. I always cast on two. After you're done practicing casting on with one needle, you can start practicing with two. So you hold both needles, and remember, I have humongous needles, right? So you probably will have a smaller size. Again, you take your yarn, you put it here, like this triangle, you hold it with your fingers. Here you have triangle. You go there, into there with both needles. You go into this loop with both needles. You grab this yarn with both needles and you tighten it up. And again, you go into the loop, you grab this top yarn and you tighten it up. And again, and again, and again. And you do it as many times as you need to do. And then why do I cast on with both needles? Because on the bottom of a sweater or on the bottom of your hat or tuki that you would like to knit, or if you're knitting socks for example, if you cast on two needles, your edge would be nice and stretchy. But if you cast on only on one needle, sometimes your edge would be very tight and it wouldn't be comfortable to wear that knitted item. So I recommend you to practice with both needles, that it would give you a nice stitches, loose stitches in the beginning. That's your lesson number 1. Just look at this video over and over again, or if it's hard to understand, or it's not shown well, or there is also so many videos on YouTube. If you type into Google how to cast on long tail cast on, you will see other videos, and that helps sometimes. So I wish you luck and see you on a lesson number 2. Bye.